In the All Attributes cultivation room, fist winds whistled continuously with a whooshing sound. Half an hour later, Song Kai stopped his movements. By now, he had managed to barely grasp control over the surging power within his body. Although threads and strands of spectral energy would still occasionally leak out when he moved, this was still much better than 3 days ago. Over 2 months, his guidance technique leveled up from LV11 to LV15, a growth that could not simply be described as a surge. To say it was like rocketing upwards would not be an exaggeration. For an ordinary first-rank torch ship captain, advancing 4 levels in guidance technique would require more than 30 years to gradually improve. Of course, this is only for the most ordinary first-rank torch ship captains. Those direct lineage captains from medium-sized powers could reduce this time significantly, possibly within 10 years, but even so, compared to Song Chi's 2 months, it was hardly worth mentioning. It was precisely because of his rapid promotion that Song Kai had difficulty adapting to the swift changes in his own strength in such a short period of time. It seems it will take at least another half a month to completely control all the changes in my body. Muttering to himself, Song Kai exited the Zutian Ruins Market. After taking a shower, he put on his amethyst bio-skin battle armor and overcoat successively, and then he went to the peach tree in the courtyard to begin today's visualization of the mythical mech projection imprint blueprint. While the level of his guidance technique was important, he couldn't neglect the visualization of the engraving map. In these 2 months, he had persisted in spending 3 hours each day on visualization. It was this persistence that made him acutely aware of a significant improvement in his spiritual force. If he were to challenge the immortal puppet tower again now, he wouldn't claim to pass beyond the subsequent 31st floor, but at least after completing the 30th floor, he would not be as utterly exhausted. After visualizing for approximately 2.5 hours, Song Kai was startled awake by a sudden series of beeping alert tones and had to reluctantly exit his visualization of the engraving map. His eyes moved about, and he looked at the family quantum communication bracelet on his left wrist. The source of the alert tones was this family-exclusive communication bracelet. Song Chi's eyes showed confusion. He had worn this quantum communication bracelet for nearly 3 months, and this was the first time he had heard it actively alert him. As he activated the bracelet, a projected light screen appeared above it, and Song Kai quickly understood. The projection from this quantum communication bracelet wasn't his personal attribute panel, but a family public channel that had been added to the quantum communication bracelets of all clansmen above first rank. Song Family Public Channel, Ring Dragon Spine Continent Server. Song Hengtong. 3rd rank, the first direct lineage vein leader, large task Soul Spirit Floating Land Expedition, has been announced, and we welcome all our clansmen to eagerly participate. Floating Land Introduction. The Soul Spirit Floating Land is a level 3 life floating land that was discovered by our lineage's Song Cheng 35 years ago and marked. After nearly 30 years of exploration and investigation by our lineage, this floating land has been identified as a rare producer of divine soul-type resources, with an overall value assessment of 6 stars. Task Introduction. The dominant race of the Soul Spirit Floating Land are the Soul Spirit Clan, skilled in good divine soul attacks. Colorless and white fire seed torch ship captains are highly susceptible to their influence and will struggle to exert their normal combat power. We are now calling for blue fire or higher quality fire seed clansmen, or those with special divine soul resistance components, to join the conquest of the Soul Spirit Floating Land. Task Difficulty. 4 stars, Dangerous, Task Rewards. 1st rank clansman, initial 500 merit points. 2nd rank clansman, initial 2,000 merit points. 3rd rank clansman, initial 10,000 merit points. Additionally, each additional level 1 Soul Spirit Clan killed plus 100 merit points, level 2 Soul Spirit Clan plus 500 merit points, level 3 Soul Spirit Clan plus 500 merit points, and all earnings during the task period will belong to the individual and do not need to be turned in. Task Duration. From today until the Soul Spirit Floating Land Expedition ends. With the announcement of this large family task, the entire Song family's Ring Dragon Spine Continent public channel erupted into chaos. Countless first-rank Song family members began to express their thoughts. Song or go. First-rank side branch. Count me in for a level 3 floating land with a value assessment of 6 stars. What's that? Seed of Torch quality not enough? Never mind then. Song Sanpao. First-rank side branch. +1 to the guy above, as a white fire seed. I tremble in fear, but I really want those divine soul resources. What to do? Song K. Second rank, the 8th direct lineage. I've been in second rank for over 30 years, but my seed of torch is only white. Can I sign up? Song Feng. Second rank, the 3rd direct lineage. Probably not. You would falter immediately upon encountering a level 2 soul spirit clan. Also, I have blue fire. Count me in. My spiritual force has been stuck at the ordinary thought state 2nd stage for over 20 years. These divine soul resources are just what I need. After scanning the family public channel for a while, Song Kai rubbed his temples, alleviating the fatigue caused by visualizing the engraving map. At the same time, his thoughts were racing as he weighed the various aspects of the family large task soul spirit floating land expedition, and whether he should sign up, considering the dangers of participating in the task. Regardless, the value of the soul spirit floating land itself was unquestionable, with a level 3 floating land having a value assessment of 6 stars, which spoke volumes. Just like the genetic bloodline chart before, the Song family had their own internal assessments of each starry sea floating land's various mineral resources, floating land origin production, biological resources, among other factors. First, the vast majority of unranked, 1-star, and 2-star starry sea floating lands have a resource value assessment of 3 stars or below, such as White Tower floating land, Guangyuan floating land, etc., both of which are rated at 2 stars. Besides, ordinary 3rd-rank floating lands are basically valued at 4 stars, with only a very few reaching 5 stars, such as the Silver Spear floating continent which Song Kai had visited. Because it is a vitality-type 3rd-rank floating land, it is valued at 5 stars within the Song family. And the 6 stars in this task is what most 4th-rank starry sea floating lands can achieve, which shows that the divine soul-type resources on the soul spirit floating land must be extremely rare and important, otherwise they could never reach 6 stars. Thinking this, Song Kai naturally felt a stirring of excitement. He had seen divine soul-type resources above the 30th floor of the Merit Tower before. Not only were they extremely rare, but they were also outrageously expensive. A divine soul-type resource that could affect a 2nd-rank torch ship captain often cost more than 3 golden merit points. Song Kai also had some understanding of the effect of these divine soul-type resources, which essentially was to enhance the cultivation speed of spiritual force or the strength of the spiritual force itself, laying the groundwork for the advance into the mythical mecha form after reaching the 4th rank. However, when he saw the task difficulty listed at the bottom of the task introduction, his gaze hesitated for a moment, and the impulsive urge he felt naturally receded slightly. He was quite clear on the family's categorization of task difficulty. 1-star easy, daily tasks, basically no death rate. 2-star normal, about 5% death rate. 3-star difficult, about 15% death rate. 4-star dangerous, about 30% death rate. 5-star hell, over 60% death rate. A 30% death rate, even with the protection of the blue seed of torch for his spirit and having the abnormal status purifier as a special component, made Song Kai somewhat reluctant. No choice, for someone who took prudence as his motto, a 1/3 chance of death was terrifyingly high. Moreover, the amethyst bio skin battle armor that he was wearing did not have extra resistance to divine soul type attacks, which further dissuaded Song Kai. Forget it, after all, it's an expedition against a 3rd-rank starry sea floating land. Given that the Soul Spirit clan relies on the floating land shield, this war is unlikely to end in a short time. I'll wait until the Kang Chong is promoted to 2nd rank before considering it. With this thought in mind, Song Kai turned and walked to the warship docking point in the courtyard. After summoning the Kang Chong, he quickly entered. Nearing the special slot for the enslavement metal component, Song Kai focused his gaze. Enslavement metal LV30 quality. Red enslavement marks. 5/5. Up rank requirement. 20 strands of second rank floating land origin, 70,000 spectral energy points, 43 titanium crystals. Enslavement mark. Frenzy. Consume 30,000 spectral energy points. Specify an enslaved target to enter a frenzied state at the cost of life. After the frenzy, the enslaved object's strength will be increased by 1 grade rank. Frenzy duration is 5 hours. Buffer time is 1 year, 9 months and 24 days. Strength increase cannot exceed the enhancement limit of this component. Indeed, in these past 2 months, Song Kai had not just devoted all his time to practicing the guidance technique. He had also undertaken 2 explorations of the alien star domain that yielded meager results and opened 2 transactions at the Ruins Market. In these 2 Ruins Market transactions, he acquired 100 titanium crystals from Zhou Ping, along with nearly 1,000 strands of second-rank floating land origin. Combined with the 100 titanium crystals he exchanged for 1 golden merit point at the Merit Tower, he managed to enhance the enslavement metal to LV30. Seeing the enslavement mark, furious row showing the remaining buffer time of 9 months and 24 days, Song Kai felt a sense of helplessness. The buffer time for the special feature of enslavement metal had indeed been significantly reduced after upgrading to 3rd rank, from 3 years to 1 year. However, for him, this was still somewhat too long. Originally, he had planned to enslave a 3rd rank creature immediately after enslavement metal was upgraded to 3rd rank. Just the thought of the Kang Chong carrying a bondage creature capable of exhibiting 4th rank combat power was thrilling. But the still 1-year-long buffer time of enslavement mark, furious, completely quelled his enthusiasm to enslave a 3rd rank creature right away. No choice, even if he managed to enslave a 3rd rank creature with much effort, it would be futile if the furious trait of the enslavement mark was still in cooldown. However, with the release of the Soul Spirit Floating Land Expedition task, it was about time for the enslavement metal to play its rightful role. Thinking this, his gaze shifted, redirecting his attention to the Kang Chong's blue torch hull. Then, with his confirmation, the blue torch hull was directly upgraded to LV-19. It was not over yet. Do you wish to initiate the ship's advancement mission? Initiate. As soon as he confirmed the initiation of Kang Chong's advancement mission, a virtual panel suddenly appeared before his eyes. Warship Advancement Mission. Kang Chong. Current success rate of advancement, 1%. Special Advancement Resource Recipe, 0 quarters. Spirit Stone 1. Millennium Volcanic Iron Essence 1. Moonrock 1. Zircon 1. Additional advancement resources. None. Bathed in alien race blood. None. After a thorough scan, Song Chi's eyebrows rose. The special resources needed for Kang Chong's advancement, all 4 were required, which took him by surprise. Isn't it said that the probability for this to happen is quite low? However, it was just a slight surprise, and he didn't care too much. Instead, he quickly took out the 4 prepared resources and also brought out the low-level energy crystals and the 2,300-year-old Mo Moon Tree sap. As all these materials merged into the torch hull, looking again at the current success rate of advancement, the original 1% had abruptly changed to 22%. Seeing this, Song Chi's lips curled up into a smile. The next step was to travel once more to the yellow sand floating continent, to hunt those 2nd rank and 3rd rank sandworms, so that Kang Chong could bathe in the blood of an alien race to increase the additional success rate of advancement. Just then, his mother's calling voice suddenly came from outside. After recalling Kang Chong, Song Kai strode toward the courtyard's exterior. In the courtyard where his uncle Song Shan resided, all members of the 10th direct lineage were gathered. As for the matter under discussion, it naturally concerned the Soul Spirit Floating Land Expedition mission. In the middle of the courtyard, next to the mountain cruiser, Song Shan began speaking. We must participate in this mission. Divine soul-type resources, such things are serendipitous and cannot be sought after. This time, the first direct lineage's fortunate discovery of this soul spirit floating land is also a stroke of luck for our Song family. This opportunity must not be missed. As he spoke, Song Shan's tone shifted. However, considering Dad has not yet finished his garrison mission and I need to suppress the origin eruption, we can't be hasty. Let's wait for Dad to return before discussing further. This large-scale mission won't be concluded in a short time. There's no need to rush. Before then, nobody is allowed to sign up on their own. Understand? Hearing this serious tone, everyone felt a chill in their hearts. In the current absence of Song Mingsong, Song Shan, who had advanced the flagship to 3rd rank, was the decision-maker of the family, and his words carried significant weight. Of course, everyone clearly understood why Song Shan was being so solemn. Family missions with a danger level are not a joke. With a 30% death rate and no 3rd rank torch captain to lead, a single misstep could mean loss of life, and any loss to their newly established 10th direct lineage was unacceptable. Seeing all the family members nodding, Song Shan was about to end the meeting. But at that moment, Song Yu, who was standing by his side, suddenly asked, "Dad, I just saw in the family's public channel that a 2nd rank uncle claimed his spiritual force is stuck at the 2nd stage of the ordinary thought state. What does that mean? P.S. I didn't get the chance to correct the previous chapter before. Now, the outcome of the Kamoy serpent has been given, having gasped its last. Also, the exchange price for the orange component in the merit tower has been adjusted. The normal exchange price is 80 to 120 golden merits." In response to the question posed by his son, Song Shan didn't need to ponder much and explained. "Originally, this matter wasn't of much relevance to you. Following the regular cultivation of the spectral energy guidance technique suffices." Listening, Song Kai always felt that his great-uncle's gaze lingered on him for a moment, but it soon shifted away, as if it was just his imagination. Within the Torch human civilization, the Torch human clan classifies spiritual force strictly according to the cultivation level of one's own spectral energy guidance technique, that is, the number of times their life has undergone sublimation. Generally speaking, once the spectral energy guidance technique breaks through LV10, which is undergoing one life sublimation, the spiritual force of a torch ship captain will receive a substantial upgrade. This marks the transition from ordinary spiritual force to the ordinary thought state, known as the 1st rank of ordinary thought state, allowing one to achieve threefold mind utilization. Following this pattern, the spectral energy guidance technique at LV20 undergoes the 2nd life sublimation, corresponding to the 2nd rank of ordinary thought state, allowing for fourfold mind utilization. At LV30 of the spectral energy guidance technique, with the 3rd life sublimation, it corresponds to the 3rd rank of ordinary thought state, allowing for 6-fold mind utilization. Having said this, Song Shan stopped and did not continue. However, Song Yu, clearly unable to contain his curiosity, continued to inquire. "Dad, what about the guidance technique at LV40, a 4th rank torch ship captain?" Song Shan shot a sideways glance at his son, causing Song Yu to instinctively shrink his neck, knowing that Song Shan was about to scold him for aiming too high. Yet, for some reason, Song Shan finally continued to answer. "Spectral energy guidance technique at LV40, undergoing the 4th life sublimation, stepping into the 4th rank level. That's when the spiritual force of a torch ship captain will enter the realm of divine thought state, known as the 1st rank of divine thought state. Only the spiritual force of this level can control a torch warship to momentarily transform into the mythical mecha form and master fighting with the mythical mech against enemies." After this, Song Shan paused again, and this time his demeanor was firm, clearly indicating that he would not speak further, no matter who asked. However, at this point, Zhao Hongshui, the great aunt present at the scene, added, "Of course, this is the normal progression for an ordinary torch ship captain. There are countless torch ship captains within the torch human civilization, numbering over 100 billion. Among them, there are some who are innately gifted or exceptionally fortunate. Those who possess high-level spiritual force even at low ranks have a significant advantage over other captains of the same rank. The benefits of a strong spiritual force are surely clear to you. It not only makes the control of a torch warship more intuitive during navigation but also affords you significant advantages in danger perception, mastery of spectral energy, and reduced training time. So, the point your great uncle is trying to make is, those rare divine soul-type resources on the soul spirit floating land can, to some extent, accelerate the training of your spiritual force, or even grant you a higher level of spiritual force. Therefore, when you take part in missions later, if you have sufficient assurance and opportunity, try to obtain as many of these divine soul-type resources as possible and don't hold back. Hearing this, Song Kai, from his slight vantage in the crowd, twitched the corner of his eye. If he had harbored any doubts before, he was now fairly certain that his great-uncle and great-aunt's words were probably aimed at him. As for the reason, it was simply because they feared he was still hiding his abilities and wanted him to use his full strength in the future to acquire as many divine soul-type resources as he could. These resources were scarce in the outside world, and if he missed this opportunity, there would be no other. To this, Song Kai was somewhat speechless but still took it to heart. From what his great-uncle had mentioned earlier, he had a rough understanding of the current strength of his own spiritual force. Normally, he should be at the first rank of ordinary thought state, but if he could break the limit, he could briefly enter the second rank of ordinary thought state, although the duration wouldn't be long. Reflecting on this, a glimmer shone in his eyes as he thought it would be great if he could elevate his spiritual force to the second rank of ordinary thought state before the second life sublimation without resorting to break-limit techniques. At the same time, his resolve became even firmer. Indeed, he must not hold back during the expedition to the soul spirit floating land and try to gather as many divine soul-type resources as possible, for that would likely help him achieve his goal. Furthermore, he had an even more ambitious thought. If someone could elevate their spiritual force to the divine thought state level before reaching the fourth rank, what would the outcome be? Could they gain early control of the mythical mech? Before he could ponder further, his great-uncle spoke up softly once again. All right. Now that you all understand, you can all disperse. Take this time to diligently cultivate the guidance technique. Although the increases within each small level within the great rank of the guidance technique are not substantial for your spiritual force, they are not non-existent. Soon, the family departed one after another, heading back to their respective courtyards, as Song Chi's father and mother took him aside and said a few words of caution. Son, your mother and I are currently gathering merit points required to exchange for the purple top rank fire source up rank. We're probably not going to make it for this mission. When you join your grandfather and the others on missions later, remember to be careful and listen to your grandfather's advice. Hearing his mother's advice, Song Kai nodded quietly. Given that both his father and mother were currently of the seed of Torch and unlikely to take part in this expedition to the soul spirit floating land, they were naturally worried about his well-being. Time flew by, and another half-month passed. On this day, high in the sky above Green Moon Manor, the Kang Chong activated a new expedition to the alien star domain and vanished into the clouds. In an unknown star domain, having swiftly swept past the Sky Eye Patrol radar, which detected only a small fragment belt within a radius of 480 light-hours, Song Kai did not linger and directly headed to the yellow sand floating land via the Zutian Ruins Market. In the midst of the vast yellow sand, the Kang Chong hovered silently thousands of meters above. Below, the enhanced version of biological pheromones he had specifically ordered for this period had already spread. To hunt these sandworms, he had indeed put in quite a bit of effort. The specially made biological pheromones alone had cost him hundreds of strands of first-rank floating land origin. But as the saying goes, you get what you pay for. These specialized biological pheromones were far more effective than the ordinary ones he had used before. With just one bottle, the surrounding sands soon reacted. Swish, 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 one after another, large and small but at least 10 meters wide, sandhills appeared at the far edges of his vision, then rapidly moved toward the source of the special biological pheromones below. Seeing that in just a short time, there were already dozens of sandhills appearing, Song Kai smiled in the Kang Chong main control room. All these were the nourishment for the Kang Chong's promotion, and the sandworm essence meat produced subsequently would also play a significant role in his practice of the guidance technique. It was just right that he had nearly consumed half of the second-rank insect meat he had on hand, so restocking could not be more timely. With that in mind, Song Chi's thoughts shifted, and he moved to focus on the blood-soul stigma component. He saw that the blood-soul mark's response was not under the same dune as initially, but was instead moving chaotically around. Clearly, the third-rank peak sandworm that had been severely injured by the Pyryong swordbeam cannon had either fully recovered or was substantially healed. This was why he did not immediately seek out this third-rank sandworm. It really was slipping through the deep sand with great speed, and the influence of the sandstorms compounded the issue. Song Kai was worried that the mixed hollow extreme yang sword intent divine light might miss its mark if he wasn't careful. I hope this enhanced biological pheromone can lure it over. A third-rank level sandworm should significantly increase Kang Chong's chances of a successful promotion, he mused. In the meantime, numerous second-rank sandworms had arrived at the source of the pheromones below. Seeing this, Song Chi's hands moved in unison as the electromagnetic ray cannon and Pyryong swordbeam cannon fired one after another. Amid the sounds of gunfire and explosions, soon mixed with piercing screams, the second-rank sandworms below began to suffer casualties under the continuous fire of the Pyryong swordbeam cannon and the electromagnetic ray cannon. Particularly the electromagnetic ray cannon, despite being a secondary cannon, was nonetheless enhanced to third rank, dealing considerable damage to the second-rank sandworms, and with its lightning arc splash feature, it caused significant group damage to the increasingly numerous second-rank sandworms below. 2 hours later, nearly 200 second-rank sandworms had fallen under Kang Chong's bombardment. Inside Kang Chong, Song Kai turned to glance at the current promotion task for the warship. Warship promotion task, Kang Chong, current promotion success rate, 31.1%. Special promotion resource formula, 4 quarters, Spirit Stone 1, Millennial Volcanic Magma Iron Essence 1, Moonrock 1, Zircon 1, 10%. Additional promotion resources, 2,300-year-old Momo Tree Sap, 6%, Low-Level Energy Crystal, 5%. Bathed in the blood of an alien race, 182 second-rank sandworms, 9.1%. Song Kai raised an eyebrow. 31.1%, huh? That's still not enough. With that thought, he continued the bombardment. However, it might have been because the aroma of the enhanced biological pheromones was fading, or perhaps the number of sandworms on the yellow sand floating continent was already dwindling, but the influx of sandworms from all directions was decreasing. Not satisfied with the situation, Song Kai controlled the Kang Chong to open its hatch and then threw down 2 more bottles of the enhanced biological pheromones. A promotion success rate of 31.1% would be quite high for an ordinary first-rank torch warship, but Song Kai was not satisfied with it. A failure rate of fully 2/3, can that be tolerated? As 2 bottles of enhanced biological pheromones landed, a denser scent spread out to the surroundings, and soon a satisfied smile reappeared on Song Chi's face. Because the number of sandworms rushing over from the surroundings had once again increased. Soon, another 4 hours passed, and by now, the number of second-rank sandworms that had fallen under the Kang Chong's barrage had reached 424. The success rate of Kang Chong's advancement had also reached 43.2%. However, there wasn't much of a smile on Song Chi's face. Looking down at the dwindling number of sandworms below, Song Kai understood that most of the sandworms on this yellow sand floating continent below must have been nearly wiped out by him. Although he had dropped 3 more bottles of pheromones, they had not attracted more sandworms. Thus, the result was clear. The sandworms on the yellow sand floating continent were now few in number. Reaching this conclusion, Song Kai didn't continue to linger. He ordered 10 Fire Peony soldier figurines and 10 Void Assassin Clan soldier figurines to go down and cut up the sandworm corpses, to section off the flesh and see if another energy crystal might emerge. Meanwhile, he himself took control of the Kang Chong, taking another 10 Void Assassin Clan soldier figurines with him, heading toward the location indicated by the blood soul mark. At 43.2%, the success rate was still unsatisfactory to him. The third-rank sandworm had to be dealt with, not just for the advancement success rate it could provide, but also for the third-rank peak-level insect race flesh inside it. Over the last 3 months, Song Kai had fully experienced the tremendous promotional effect that insect race flesh had on the practice of the guidance technique. Therefore, he would not possibly let go of this third-rank peak-level insect race flesh. Moreover, there might still be energy crystals inside it. If there were indeed any, given its previous third-rank peak strength, they would likely be of intermediate quality. Thinking about it, his desire grew even more intense. Half an hour later, near the central area of the yellow sand floating continent, the advancing Kang Chong came to a halt. Within the main control room, Song Qi's gaze was fixed directly below the Kang Chong. The blood soul mark was indicating that the third-rank peak-level sandworm was currently hidden hundreds of meters beneath the yellow sand. Without much thought, Song Kai swiftly gathered the sword intent divine light at the muzzle of the pure yang sword beam cannon. To avoid unnecessary delays, he directly utilized the mixed hollow extreme yang sword intent divine light. After a dozen seconds, the 100-meter sword intent divine light let out a soft chant and streaked down through the air, directly targeting the spot below. Quickly, the sword intent divine light touched the endless yellow sand on the ground below, but the vast might it carried allowed it to penetrate the sand without any hindrance. In just 2 seconds, the sword intent divine light had pierced through several hundred meters and directly struck the third-rank sandworm that had only recently become still. SSSSs. Suddenly, a series of intense hissing sounds rose from below. Although it was known that these were anguished hisses and not the sonic roar, Song Kai still preemptively raised the hovering height of the Kang Chong. Once bitten, twice shy. With that prior example in mind, Song Kai naturally would not, and could not allow himself to make such a low-level mistake again. Without waiting for the yellow sand in the sky to disperse slightly, the Kang Chong abruptly veered to the side. The blood soul mark showed that after a second slice from the mixed hollow extreme yang sword intent divine light, the third-rank sandworm was still alive and was making a run for it in this direction. For that, Song Kai was prepared. The several hundred meters thick layer of yellow sand, although it did not block the sword intent divine light from striking the third-rank sandworm, had still consumed much of the might of the sword intent divine light, so it was normal that a single hit had failed to kill the still injured third-rank peak sandworm. After a chase that lasted a dozen minutes, this third-rank peak sandworm with an astonishing vitality finally reached the end of its life. With the Kang Chong gaining a strand of second-rank floating land origin, the Kang Chong's advancement success rate surged from 43.2% to 51.2%. An increase of 8% in the advancement success rate from a single third-rank sandworm. Not bad at all. Muttering to himself, the hatch of the Kang Chong opened, and the remaining 10 Void Assassin Clan soldier figurines holding alloy cutters leapt down from the warship. After nearly an hour had passed, the 10 Void Assassin Clan soldier figurines had finally managed to fly back to the Kang Chong. The reason it took so long was not that the third-rank peak sandworm's steel-like skin was difficult to cut through, but that it was located hundreds of meters underground. To extract the corpse of the worm from deep beneath the surface required quite an effort from the 10 Void Assassin Clan soldier figurines. This was one of the reasons why Song Kai chose not to enslave the creature but rather to kill it, in order to increase the likelihood of the Kang Chong's successful promotion. From the beginning to the end, the creature showed no intention of surfacing. Even after Song Kai used a bottle of biological pheromones, it was still to no avail. As a result, the enslavement metal had no chance to demonstrate its effectiveness. Moreover, it was a critical time for the promotion of the Kang Chong, and it was uncertain when his grandfather would finish his guarding duties and return. Although the promotion mission could last a whole year, in order to ensure that the Kang Chong was promoted before heading to the Soul Spirit floating land, Song Kai himself preferred to push for the Kang Chong's promotion sooner. Therefore, his desire to enslave the third-rank sandworm was not that strong. Not to mention, if he did successfully enslave it, he would first have to spend a significant amount of merit points to quickly heal its injuries. Once the Void Assassin clan soldier figurines returned, the Kang Chong immediately ascended and vanished from the region's skies in an instant. The third-rank peak sandworm contributed an 8% increase to the promotion success rate, which was good news. However, the bad news was that its corpse didn't contain any energy crystals. There was an abundance of third-rank meat though, with more than 50 pounds. Upon returning to the initial battlefield, the Fire Peony soldier figurines and Void Assassin clan soldier figurines had also finished processing all the second-rank sandworm bodies, cutting more than 2,000 pounds of second-rank meat, which replenished a small fraction of Song Chi's meat reserve. Unfortunately, out of over 400 second-rank sandworm bodies, not a single energy crystal was found. Some 10 minutes later, in outer space near the yellow sand floating continent. Looking at the detailed star chart with a diameter of over 10 light-years generated by the Sky Eye Patrol radar, Song Kai carefully activated the spatial jump device of the Kang Chong. 6 light-years away in a pitch-dark region of space, the Kang Chong shot out of a spatial vortex and then remained stationary, waiting quietly for the Sky Eye Patrol radar to generate a new star chart. The business with the yellow sand floating continent was over, and the Buluo civilization ruins as well as the sandworms no longer held any further value. With over 10 hours left before returning, Song Kai planned to use the Sky Eye Patrol radar to see if there were any other starry sea floating lands nearby. An hour later, the Sky Eye Patrol radar completed generating a new star chart of the airspace. Looking at the newly generated star chart, Song Kai was greatly disappointed. Apart from the yellow sand floating land in the direction from which they had come, the star chart showed no other starry sea floating lands. There weren't any asteroid belts, fragment belts, or other resource points either. Helpless, Song Kai could only wait for the Purple River translocation device to complete its buffer several hours later. Once the translocation device's buffer was complete, Song Kai followed the same procedure and jumped another 6 light-years towards the outer edge, but still found nothing. Even if there had been a discovery this time, there likely wouldn't be enough time to allow the Purple River translocation device to buffer for a new round, given the time remaining. Still, Song Kai harbored great hope before jumping, as deep down he still had some doubts about the Buluo civilization ruins, such as why they didn't release the 4th-ranked queen to fight. But now, it seemed there would be no chance to find out, since no further value was discovered in this star domain. Barring any surprises, he would soon cancel the spatial anchor point set in this region and would likely never have a chance to return here again. In the pitch-black space, the Kang Chong remained quietly suspended, waiting for the impending return. On the Dragon Spine continent within Green Moon Manor. Upon returning, Song Kai immediately accessed his quantum communication bracelet. Warship promotion success rate bathed in the blood of an alien race. After typing a line of keywords on the projected screen of the bracelet, he clicked on search. Soon enough, several related messages appeared. Dingai 001 floating land, the perfect choice for a free-range farm to harvest domesticated alien species. Each visit requires only 100,000 merit points plus 10 golden merit points and can provide up to 10% promotion success rate for a second-rank torch warship. Dingai 002 floating land, currently under recovery, unable to provide domesticated alien species. Dingai 003 floating land, the unrivaled choice for harvesting domesticated alien species. Each visit requires only 30,000 merit points plus 1 golden merit point and can provide up to 12% promotion success rate for a first-rank torch warship. Dingai 010 floating land, harvesting, currently under recovery, unable to. Indeed, What Song Kai was looking for were the family's internal channels to increase the success rate of warship promotions. Although the Kang Chong's current success rate was over 50%, it still wasn't enough. His personal opinion was that the promotion success rate of the Kang Chong should exceed 70%, ideally reaching over 80%, before you would formally opt for promotion to second rank. A 50-50 chance of success was still too risky in his view. Looking at the series of messages that popped up, Song Kai clicked into each one to take a close look, but he didn't find a suitable choice. These so-called Dingai 001010 floating lands are places specifically used by the Song family to domesticate alien species, allowing clan members to spend merit points to raise the success rate of warship promotions. Each of these floating lands harbors a large number of alien species that have been evaluated by the family's Internal Affairs Division. These alien species usually have rapid breeding cycles, high singleton birth rates, short developmental periods, and excellent genetic bloodline traits, all intended for quick and continuous production. This is also why the Song family could afford to transform 9 ordinary second-rank floating lands and 1 third-rank floating land at a great cost, to farm these alien species. If placed in the external world, this would undoubtedly be a grand gesture. However, for the Song family internally, merely 10 farming floating lands were still far from sufficient. There was no helping it. There were simply too many clansmen. The number of first-rank clansmen was in the hundreds of thousands, and with such a large base of first-rank torch ship captains, the quantity of second-rank clansmen naturally couldn't be insignificant either. With a sigh, Song Kai returned to the homepage of the search bar and continued to input keywords. Methods to increase the successful promotion rate of first-rank warships. With this search, a string of information quickly popped up. Exciting news! The family's new secret realm, Moruo Secret Realm, produces Mo Moontree sap which can increase the promotion success rate of warships. Produced by Qingling Secret Realm, Qingling Spirit Fruit. One fruit can increase a first-rank torch warship's promotion success rate by 5%, only for 2 golden merit points. The 1200-year-old sea musk beads produced by Dragonspine Continents, Fallen Sea Ridge, can increase the promotion success rate of a first-rank torch warship by 8%, available for 4 golden merit points. They all require golden merit points, damn rip-offs. Song Kai, looking rather displeased, quickly closed his quantum communication bracelet and stopped the subsequent searches. He found that any resource related to warship promotions required transactions with golden merit points. After exchanging for 100 titanium crystals last time, his personal account only had 1 final golden merit point left. He had no money to purchase these items. Moreover, he was planning to save some merit points to enslave a third-rank thorned flying dragon. The thought gave Song Kai a bit of a headache as he realized he was still poor. Thinking so, he softly murmured in his mind, "Forget it, hopefully tomorrow's Ruins Market trading will bring some surprises." The next day, Zutian Ruins Market. Standing in front of the ultra-long-distance Space Gate random deployment platform, Song Kai had a properties panel in front of him, showing the detailed information of Zutian Ruins Market. In these 2 months, he had successfully upgraded the Ruins Market's level to LV19 through 2 trade meetings, but advancing to second rank was not so simple. Name: Zutian Ruins Market, Ruins Market Master, Song Kai. Level: LV19. Dimensions: 1900 mx 1900 meters, basic configuration. 70 shops, 1 plot of 450 meters by 450 meters stall area. 1 2-story inn. 1 LV19 all attributes cultivation room. Efficiency doubles when cultivating with spectral energy. 1 LV19 spectral energy protection formation. 1 LV19 ultra long distance space gate, random deployment platform. Additional configuration. Stealth light platform, purple, LV20, 1/8. Feature: averting misfortune. Ability to move freely within the void, intuitively avoiding natural disasters. Feature 2. Spatial anchor point. Ability to set a coordinate anchor point in any star domain of the shattered starry sea. Up rank requirement. 200 strands of first rank floating land origin. Ruins market trade volume reaching 200,000. 134,800 200,000ths strands of first rank floating land origin. Looking at the requirement for the 20,000 first rank floating land origin in the up rank requirement section, Song Kai felt a headache coming on. The previous few times Zhou Ping, a major customer, had placed several large orders that just managed to bring his trade volume to 135,000 strands. Even so, he was still more than 60,000 short of the 200,000 goal, and he had no idea how many more times it would take for Zhu Tian Ruins Market to complete its upgrade. But to give credit where it's due, after the enhancement of Zhu Tian Ruins Market to LV19, he had also strengthened the ultra-long-distance space gate random deployment platform to LV19, increasing the number of spatial gates that could be deployed each time to 47. As such, the number of alien creatures entering the ruins market each time had indeed increased significantly on average. He estimated that after about 4 more transactions in the ruins market, he should be able to meet the trade volume of 200,000 and enable the ruins market to successfully advance to second rank. Thinking this, Song Kai activated the ultra-long distance space gate random deployment platform. Half an hour later, a flustered Zhou Ping appeared in one of the ruins market's shops, which had been named the Immortal Cultivation Boutique. It was agreed upon by the Luofu sword sect and was a dedicated shop Zhou Ping had rented and set up in the ruins market. However, this time was different from the usual. Zhou Ping was holding an unconscious figure in his hands. In the distance at the free stall area, Song Kai, who had been paying attention to Zhou Ping since he came down from the guest room, had a smile flicker across his face. What he was looking forward to wasn't just the titanium crystal, body tempering liquid, body tempering paste, and the monthly fee of 50 strands of second rank floating land origin, but also the figure he now held in his hands. This was a deal he had specifically proposed last month during the ruins market transaction, where he would trade 1,000 portions of body tempering liquid this month in exchange for a first-rank peak Qi cultivator, level 9 Qi cultivation, along with one foundation establishment pill. As for Song Qi's intended purpose, it was simple. Naturally, it was for that high-level storage bag. Compared to the need to actively summon the Kang Chong, this storage bag with an interior volume reaching several dozens of cubic meters was obviously more convenient. And this Qi cultivator was to be used by Song Kai to specifically operate the storage bag. Well, commonly known as a tool person. With a light wave of his hand, the ruins market law mobilized, sweeping up the titanium crystal, floating land origin, body tempering paste, and the still unconscious cultivator that Zhou Ping had taken out. Song Kai silently disappeared from the stall area. Isolated space, storage room. Spectral energy flowed at Song Qi's brow, and soon, an enslavement mark shot out from the ancestral torch and was imprinted into the body of the cultivator lying on the ground in front of him. With the support of the ruins market law and the fact that the enslavement metal had already been enhanced to third rank, the enslavement proceeded without a hitch. Before long, the cultivator woke up from his stupor, and due to the enslavement mark, there was no sign of confusion in his eyes. His first action was to respectfully pay homage to Song Kai. Master. Song Kai nodded lightly. He then began to inquire about everything related to the primordial continent through mind induction. But obviously, the guy was mostly clueless about the primordial continent, clearly a deliberate act by the Luofu sword sect. For this, Song Kai wasn't surprised at all. The Luofu sword sect weren't fools. How could they make it so easy for him to understand information about the primordial continent? He tossed the foundation establishment pill and the high-level storage bag to the cultivator named Zhao Lei, instructing him to try breaking through to the foundation establishment stage in the all attributes cultivation room. After which, Song Kai returned to the free stall area. This Zhao Lei was just a tool person he had acquired for immediate control over the storage bag. As for the foundation establishment pill, It was to enable rapid progression to second rank so that he wouldn't perish too easily in the future. There was no other intention. Time passed quickly, and nearly 20 hours had flown by in the blink of an eye. The number of alien creatures that entered the ruins market this time was quite good, exceeding 1,500. And this thus increased the related trade volume significantly, including the floating land origin exchanges and the like. For instance, the floating land origin exchange shop alone had already recorded a profit of more than 300 strands of second-rank floating land origin. Song Kai was quite satisfied with this. The only regret was that there still hadn't appeared any alien creatures with huge potential or latent value, which meant that Song Kai couldn't use the remaining ruins market guest tokens in his hands, and he could only wait to see if he could try an auction later on. However, just as Song Kai thought there wouldn't be any new alien creatures entering, a new spatial fluctuation from the entrance of the ruins market caught his attention. He was certain that this spatial gate had not been activated before. Following a burst of spatial fluctuation, a short-statured, green-skinned figure with a somewhat sleazy face appeared outside the entrance of the ruins market. Song Chi's eyebrows raised slightly. As this, a goblin. His expression unchanged, Song Kai felt quite expectant at heart, continuously observing every move of the goblin from a godlike perspective. Whether in some Western fantasy novels of his previous life or now in the official compendiums of Starry Sea Civilization and creatures published by Torch Human Civilization, the labels stamped on the goblin species are none other than being extremely miserly, valuing wealth as life, bullying the weak and fearing the strong, etc. However, it must be said that besides these, there is another term that is also indispensable to them. That is, technology. And this is the main reason Song Kai is paying so much attention to them. Goblin technology is extremely renowned throughout the entire Shattered Starry Sea, with even Torch Human Civilization officially recording a civilization called the Ancient Goblins. This civilization was once one of the super civilizations of Shattered Starry Sea, far more powerful than the current Torch Human Civilization, by tenfold or even 100-fold. Although it has now been obliterated by the River of Time, the renowned goblin technology is still left with various legends in every corner of the Shattered Starry Sea. As thoughts flowed through his mind, the sleazy yet slightly cautious goblin finally arrived at the entrance of the ruins market. Its thievish gaze swept over the market's rules and the related introductions, and a strong gleam suddenly emerged in its triangular eyes. Full of curiosity, excitement, and anticipation. At the sight of this, Song Chi's thoughts whirled, already considering how to extract more benefits from the goblin later on. As the goblin stepped into the ruins market, it was clear that not all of the alien species in the free trading zone were low-level civilizations isolated from the Starry Sea. Soon enough, some creatures recognized its trail. A goblin has actually appeared. Come on, hurry over there, that goblin might have something good on it. However, upon hearing these fragmented discussions, not only did the goblin show no signs of pleasure, but it also reacted as though its tail was stepped on. It suddenly leapt high into the air, and then shouted in a sharp voice. High level, we are the great high-level goblins, don't compare those green-skinned monkeys with the great high-level goblins. Hearing these words bellowed in the common language of the Starry Sea, the market fell into a momentary silence, then quickly became noisy again. But this time, no creature called out the word, goblin, again, although they might have been scoffing to themselves inwardly. Even if you're high level, you still look like a green-skinned monkey. How high level can you get? In fact, Song Kai had the same thought. Seeing that it had achieved the desired effect, the goblin did not linger on this point. Its thievish gaze swept around and, mimicking others, it staked out a corner in the free trading area for its stall. Surrounding it, a crowd of alien species showed eager anticipation. However, the goblin's subsequent actions greatly disappointed all the creatures. It only placed the carry-on suitcase, no more than several dozen centimeters in length and width, in front of itself, then carefully opened it and began to search inside. Seeing this, the surrounding alien species felt greatly let down. Even if there were some fine items inside this suitcase, how many could there be? The box was so small, it could only hold a few scattered items at most. Just as the alien species turned around, preparing to try their luck at other stalls, who would have known that the carry-on suitcase in the goblin's hands would turn out to be like a treasure chest, as one item after another was taken out and placed on the stall in front of it. In just a short time, there were already more than 100 items on the goblin's stall, including mineral resources and magic energy potions, but the majority were various mechanical creations brimming with a sense of technology. Among these technological creations, there were even a few whose size completely surpassed that of the suitcase, leaving it a mystery how they were stored inside. In front of the stall, Song Kai, who had transformed into a jackal-wolf person, had already squeezed to the front, watching as the goblin in front of him continued to take out various items. Song Chi's thoughts began to revolve, forming a certain conjecture about the carry-on suitcase in the goblin's hands. Space folding technology. If it really is so, being able to integrate folded space into a carry-on suitcase and carry it around, the technology involved must certainly be far beyond that of Torchlight humanity. Thinking this, Song Chi's gaze suddenly fixated, staring intently at an item the goblin had just taken out of the suitcase. It wasn't just him, all the surrounding alien species did the same, because this mechanical creation was emitting a dazzling orange glow, clearly a strange object of orange quality from the starry sea. Song Kai instinctively reached out, wishing to check the specific attributes of the item. However, this action triggered the goblin's high vigilance. It quickly put the orange glowing item back into the suitcase, staring warily at Song Chi's current jackal-wolf head. In response, Song Kai explained in the common language of the starry sea. "Didn't you take it out to sell it? If I don't have a close look, how would I know if it's what I want? Besides, rest assured, the ruins market is regulated by the law. All creatures must abide by the principle of fair trade, or they will be expelled immediately. There have already been several cases." Song Kai raised a claw and pointed up at the sky above the ruins market while the surrounding alien species echoed in agreement. Only then did the goblin relax its vigilance slightly and took out the orange object once again. However, when Song Kai took it over, his pair of triangular eyes was still watching intently, signaling that he'd probably take it back the moment anything amiss occurred. Regarding this, Song Kai didn't mind. Goblins, after all, are known for being the epitome of penny-pinching creatures, so this behavior wasn't surprising. As he held the strange object in his hand, the power of laws circulated, and soon he obtained an introduction to its attributes. Marvel. Goblin Magic Energy Detector, Quality, Orange. Convertible. Silver 3 Generation Ultra-Wave Magic Energy Detection Radar. Note: the Silver Goblin Empire was a mighty nation founded by high-level goblins, who proclaimed themselves to be the descendants of ancient goblin bloodlines and controlled a not-so-low level of technology. In the imperial calendar year 12,545, the Empire's top goblin technologist, Tor, developed the first-generation magic energy detector, and hence was granted the title of Viscount by the Empire. After several revisions and updates, the Silver 3 Generation Magic Energy Detector was born, and this detector was precisely the original model. As for its marvel attributes, Song Kai had no interest. What caught his attention was the Silver 3 Generation Ultra-Wave Magic Energy Detection Radar, mentioned in the convertible section. Under the cover of the power of laws, streams of spectral energy flowed into the detector he was holding, and quickly the attributes it could be converted into were also revealed. Silver 3 Generation Ultra-Wave Magic Energy Detection Radar LV0. Quality. Orange Feature. Magic Energy Detection Feature 2, Star Chart Collector. Consumption. 30 per second. Spectral Energy Points. Detection Range, 30 light seconds. Precision. 100 up rank requirement. 10 strands of 0 rank floating land origin, 1000 spectral energy points, 1 terrastone. Magic energy detection. All life forms or objects with special energy reactions within the detection range will be specially marked on the display. Star Chart Collector. After entering an unfamiliar star domain, with half an hour of collection, the patrol radar will automatically generate a detailed star chart of 20 times the detection range. After reading these detailed attributes, Song Kai felt a great surge of joy in his heart. This Silver 3 generation ultra-wave magic energy detection radar, being an orange quality patrol radar, was much stronger than the current Heavenly Eye patrol radar equipped on the Kongchong. Given that the radar is somewhat of a weak point aboard the Kongchong, Song Chi's expression remained unchanged, yet in his heart, he was resolute about getting his hands on the orange radar. As he was thinking, the goblin in front of him already reached out quickly to take back the orange radar. Song Kai showed no abnormal reaction but instead asked, "How do we trade for this orange marvel?" As soon as he spoke, the goblin in front of him seemed to become a different person. The original wariness dissipated quickly, turning instead into an eager smile, and his mouth began spewing a long, insubstantial speech. "This magic energy detector was left behind by my ancestor, the first generation Viscount Tor, and has been handed down to my generation for a full." Song Kai instinctively filtered out the long-winded boastful words of the other party and got back to the point. "What's the price?" 500 strands of 4th rank floating land origin. The next second, Song Chi's jackal wolf face suddenly turned dark. 500 strands of 4th rank floating land origin wasn't just simply an outrageous demand, it was like a shameless toad trying to swallow the sky, utterly preposterous. Recalling when his grandfather, Song Mingsong, had acquired the apocalyptic annihilation cannon, it had only cost him 10 strands of 4th rank floating land origin. Though other strands of 3rd rank floating land origin were included, could those even compare to the 4th rank? Once it came to the 3rd and 4th ranks of floating land origin, talking of exchange between them was hardly feasible anymore, due to the vast differences between these levels. It was for this reason that Song Chi's own floating land origin exchange shop had never held much hope for 3rd rank or higher floating land origins. They were merely listed there to boost the shop's prestige. And so, overall, the expenses that grandfather Song Mingsong incurred in acquiring that apocalyptic annihilation cannon amounted to, at most, just a few dozen strands of 4th rank floating land origin. While this radar component might be rarer than a main cannon component, it definitely wasn't exaggerated to 10 times that extent. Therefore, Song Kai didn't bother to ask any further. Given the nature of goblins, it would be quite futile to haggle with them. Insisting on it would only lead to his own frustration, because their way of thinking couldn't be considered using the same logic applied to normal beings. Trying to reason with them, haggle? Don't make him laugh. Song Chi's thought was simple: if the normal methods didn't work, then he would see if the upcoming auction for the Ruins Market guest token could attract the other party's attention. In the end, if that still didn't work, then he would have to utilize the enslavement metal component. When Song Kai asked himself if he had a choice, he would be 100 times reluctant to use the enslavement metal. This had nothing to do with being a saint or not wanting to harm the innocent. Non-kin, their hearts differ. He understood this truth clearer than anyone else, and he would never be more compassionate than anyone else when he needed to be ruthless. The reason he was unwilling to use the enslavement metal unless absolutely necessary was only one. There are no walls in the world that do not let wind pass through. With his identity as the Ruins Market Master and the quality of the enslavement metal, enslaving a first-rank goblin would naturally be a simple matter, but the troublesome part was what came after the enslavement. Now he was only first rank, and so was the Ruins Market secret realm. The enslavement metal had only been enhanced to 3rd rank. What if there was a 4th rank or even a 5th rank level existence behind this goblin? He didn't believe that creatures of such levels couldn't detect the existence of enslavement marks. Thus, once exposed, the Zutian Ruins Market would certainly be dragged into it. He wasn't afraid that these 4th rank, 5th rank existences would act against him across the void. The Zutian Ruins Market, lying deep within the space rift, was not something any creature could tamper with, even if they were of 4th or 5th rank existences. What he feared was the reputation of the Zutian ruins market collapsing. From the introduction of the Silver 3 generation ultrawave magic energy detection radar, it was not hard to see that the Silver Goblin Empire was not any ordinary civilization group and must have quite an influence in the star domain it was located. Once it started spreading the dirty secrets of the Zutian ruins market, word would spread from 1 to 10, 10 to 100. He believed that it wouldn't be long before the reputation of the Zutian ruins market would be thoroughly ruined. Under such circumstances, it would be very difficult in the future to make big money through the Zutian ruins market. Although this possibility was not high, moreover, even if the Silver Goblin Empire spread the dirty laundry of the Zutian ruins market, it would not likely cause much impact on the market in the short term, considering that the diameter of shattered starry sea cannot be measured in light years is not just talk. But Song Kai dared not, nor was he willing, to take the risk. He was only first rank now, and it was unknown how long it would take to reach 4th or 5th rank, not to mention the subsequent 6th or 7th rank. What he wanted to express was the span of 1,000 years, 10,000 years, or even 100,000 years. A steady stream of small gains is 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times stronger than a one-time big profit. Sigh. Taking a deep breath, Song Kai suppressed the thought of enslavement at the bottom of his heart and turned his attention to the other items on his stall. Magic Missile Launcher Goblin High Explosive Grenades. Deep Space Magic Energy Bombing Drone Goblin Magic Energy Battle Armor. Detailed construction diagram of Goblin War God Mech. Looking at all these mechanical devices and weapons in front of him, Song Kai was extremely interested. It had to be said that many of these items would be very useful to him. Take the Magic Missile Launcher, for example. This thing was portable, and if equipped by Void Assassin clan soldier figurines, with their unnoticeable skills, they could definitely achieve unexpected effects. Hitting with one shot and then immediately fleeing the scene would surely infuriate the enemies. Or take the Deep Space Magic Energy Bombing Drone. This item was a perfect match with the Brainwave remote control system. Scanning around, Song Chi's gaze suddenly fell on a small piece of black stone on the stall. After examining it, Song Kai was almost certain, isn't this just ordinary terrastone? Thinking this, he looked up and asked the question. Boss, what's this stone? The high-level goblin was busy introducing his products to alien races and then replied. Magic stone. Do you have it? Magic stones are called magic stones in their world. Upon hearing the words from this high-level goblin, Song Chi's heart leapt with joy. In the territories of Torch human civilization, terrastones had few uses, generally considered as one of the lowest value ordinary ores, with only a small number of special components requiring them for enhancement. However, if their value in the Silver Goblin Empire was high enough, then this was undoubtedly excellent news. Isn't interstellar trade all about profiting from the price difference? Additionally, a flash of inspiration struck him as he suddenly remembered the orange quality, Terra Primeval Stone, his grandfather had mentioned before. Terra stones and Terra Primeval stones originated from the same mineral, except that Terra Primeval stones, which could only emerge from super-large terrastone veins after tens of thousands of years, belonged to the top rank of terrastones. Perhaps, I won't even need to use the Ruins Market guest token to get my hands on that orange radar. A bright glint passed through the depths of Song Chi's eyes, but of course, that glimmer was known only to himself, concealed as it was by the power of laws, unseen by others. He organized his thoughts briefly, then softly began to speak. Is this object very important to you? But that goblin was extremely canny and would not easily reveal the specific price of terrastones in their world. It did not take the bait, instead, it continued to introduce products to the other alien species while occasionally glancing at Song Kai. Song Kai did not press further, but instead continued in a different manner. I know the whereabouts of an orange-quality magic stone. As he said this, the goblin in front of him became visibly restless, quickly leaving behind the group of alien species who were asking questions and hurried over to Song Kai, ingratiatingly asking. Wolf brother, are you serious? Of course, their conversation was inaudible to the other alien races nearby, as Song Kai had subtly altered their perception with the power of laws. Why? After all, the Terra Primeval Stone was on display at the Oddity Exchange Shop, and many of the surrounding aliens knew about it. They had not yet noticed the Terra Stones, so they didn't mention the Terra Primeval Stone, but once they heard the term Terra Stone, Song Kai would find it much more difficult to extract information later on. Of course, it's true, and if you're interested, I can even provide you with the relevant information to ensure you have a chance to get it. But well, you'll have to tell me the specific uses and value of this Terra Stone. As for its uses, Song Kai had already made some guesses. Magic stones, goblin magic creations, magic energy armors. It was not hard to figure out that these magic stones were related to such items. What Song Kai really wanted to know was their specific value. Only with that knowledge could he set a proper price after collecting them from the Torch human civilization territory. Otherwise, if he priced them too high, the other party wouldn't buy. If too low, he himself wouldn't make much profit. However, the goblin remained slippery as ever, still not giving a straight answer. This magic stone has many uses in our world, though the yield is high, so its value is only so-so. Song Kai was obviously not satisfied, but at that moment, an alien species finally took notice of the Terra Stone and quickly pointed towards the Oddity Exchange Shop. Seeing this, Song Kai had no choice but to let it be. Soon after, the high-level goblin swiftly made its way from the free trading area to the Oddity Exchange Shop. And of course, the booth in the free trading area was already packed up due to its lack of confidence and returned to its portable case in its hands. As for this portable case, which seemed like a box of treasures, Song Chi's interest grew even stronger. If it was as he suspected, the value of this space box in the Torch human civilization territory would definitely find a good market. At the Oddity Exchange Shop, when the goblin saw the Terra Primeval Stone at the most prominent place in the shop, clear excitement sparked within its cunning, triangular eyes. Unsurprisingly, this object was extremely important to it. Or rather, its uses must be very extensive within the Silver Empire it represented. While thinking, the goblin softly spoke up. "Great Ruins Market Lord, may I inquire how this Terra Primeval Stone is for sale?" This suddenly respectful tone seemed out of place to Song Kai, who was standing at a distance in the free trading area, making him somewhat uncomfortable. This green-skinned goblin had been nothing but cautious and supercilious since arriving, exuding an air of superiority that screamed noble birth. Now, out of the blue, it was so polite and humble, even softening its normally sharp voice, which was indeed somewhat baffling. But after Song Chi's mind raced full circle, he understood. The goblin probably associated him, the Ruins Market Master, with those supreme beings from the shattered Starry Sea, and being a bully to the weak and a coward before the strong was one of their most notable traits. Hence this change. Having reached this conclusion, Song Kai then began to respond with the power of laws. Barter. Originally, he had actually wanted to intimidate this despicable little creature with 500 strands of 4th-rank floating land origin, but thinking it might not fit the market norm he had set for the Ruins Market, he stuck with these usual 4 words instead. Then his face turned completely dark. The stingiest goblin wouldn't do the expected, promptly laying out a bunch of trinkets, one by one bringing them to the counter at the center of the shop, inquiring if they could be exchanged. Song Kai couldn't help but use a trace of the power of laws to brush past the goblin, causing its hairs to stand on end. With that, the high-level goblin finally got on the right track. It no longer offered things of little value, but instead solemnly took out several items from its briefcase. The first was naturally the goblin magic energy detector that could be converted into an orange radar. Second was a mass of floating land origin, 1,000 threads of 3rd-rank floating land origin. The third item was the design plan for the Goblin War God mech. Song Chi's gaze shifted, and without responding immediately, he pondered for a while and had a thought. Meanwhile, new text emerged on the projection screen above the central counter in the Oddity Exchange Shop. Let's talk about that Goblin War God mech design plan. The Goblin War God mech, a symbolic combat power of the ancient Goblin civilization from millions of years ago, was documented in the official records of Torchlight Humanity as follows. The Goblin War God mech, the ultimate product of the ancient Goblin God making project, came in Ancient First Generation, Ancient Second Generation, and Ancient Third Generation. Just the Ancient First Generation Goblin War God mech alone had regular 4th rank combat power and was the absolute military force in the ancient Goblin civilization's external warfare. However, this was also the reason for their ultimate downfall. Mass-producing units with 4th rank combat power and above, combined with the absence of supreme combat forces within their civilization, eventually led to other civilizations' siege and gradual obliteration over the course of time. As for the reputation of this Goblin War God mech, Song Kai was well aware. However, he had heard that after the fall of the ancient Goblin civilization, the method of constructing these mechs had been long lost. That's why he hadn't taken it too seriously at first. After all, there were countless fake Goblin War God mech design plans in the shattered Starry Sea, far too many to count. It was only when he saw the other party placing the design plan alongside an orange quality oddity that he became slightly interested and wanted to hear what they had to say. Speaking of this Goblin War God mech design plan, we must start from the first generation of my Thor family. As expected, the thing once again started to boast. Song Kai drew upon the power of laws and new text appeared on the projection screen. No need for the rest, are there any finished products? With these words, the high-level goblin's voice faltered. Although one has never been built, that's merely because my Thor family has fallen into decline. Before it could say anything more, the projection screen already provided a response. Add 200 threads of 3rd rank floating land origin to that orange oddity. Song Kai originally intended to exchange Terra Primeval Stone for the orange radar, but, considering the goblin's penny-pinching nature, he decided to add 200 threads of 3rd rank floating land origin, leaving some room for the highly probable haggling to follow. Hearing this price, as expected, the goblin, which was very respectful a moment ago, immediately started hopping mad. When it came to money, they didn't care about any big shot or not, valuing money as life itself, which was ingrained in their very bones. Great Lord of the Ruins Market, a fair trade is the rule you established. After listening to the creature ramble for a while, the final trade price was settled on. The Goblin Magic Energy Detector plus 500 threads of 2nd rank floating land origin. As the Terra Primeval Stone was handed over to it, Song Kai also received the orange quality, Silver 3 Generation Superwave Magic Energy Detection Radar, along with 500 threads of 2nd rank floating land origin. The 500 threads of 2nd rank floating land origin were an unexpected pleasant surprise. For this, Song Kai was extremely satisfied. Because when you really calculate it, this meant that he only used 20 threads of 4th rank floating land origin to get his hands on one of the rarest basic components, the orange radar, plus 500 threads of 2nd rank floating land origin, which was definitely a huge and special profit. Before the goblin left, Song Kai appropriately brought up the topic of the spacebox, but the result he got wasn't promising. According to the goblin, this spacebox, named Romasi Spacebox, indeed utilized spatial folding technology. However, even in the Silver Goblin Empire, such an item was rare. The one he had was acquired by his family at great cost before their decline, and it was not for sale. In light of this, Song Kai muttered to himself that it was to be expected. Dealing with spatial technology was never easy, no matter the level of civilization it was placed in. As the high-level goblin returned to his stall with a flushed face, Song Kai, disguised as a jackal wolf, began his major purchasing spree. He bought 20 magic missile launchers directly. These devices didn't require specific ammunition, they consumed magic energy. Strictly speaking, magic stones, Terra stones to be precise, were the actual ammunition, and their might wasn't bad, capable of reaching around 2nd rank. But they weren't cheap, costing him 2,000 tendrils of 1st rank floating land origin. Goblin high-explosive grenades were not much different from the energy grenades used by the Chengxing Principality military, but they were more expensive and he bypassed them. Deep space magic energy bombing drones had an impressive effect when paired with the Brainwave remote control system, and their power was also extremely astonishing, with the blast center reaching a third-rank energy level. However, regrettably, these drones were one-time, suicide-style units that would be completely scrapped after a single use, with no possibility of recovery, and the price was exorbitant, 100 tendrils of second-rank floating land origin each. Translated into Song family's merit points, that was 0.5 golden merit points, and 10 drones equaled 1 purple component. After some hesitation, Song Kai still bought 5 drones, essentially spitting back out the 500 tendrils of second-rank floating land origin he had overcharged for the Terrastones. Although expensive, the might of these drones was indeed undeniable, and once activated, they could generate a layer of magic energy cloaking shield on their surface, temporarily blocking the perception of third-rank and lower creatures. Their performance was beyond criticism. Of course, these 5 deep space magic energy bombing drones would be stored in the ruins market as an emergency measure, to be used only at critical moments. At a price of 100 tendrils of second-rank floating land origin each, he did have some money to spare, but he wasn't so extravagant as to use them carelessly. Finally, the Goblin Magic Energy Battle Armor, which he also wanted to buy a few sets of, since compared to exoskeleton-powered armors and alloy armors, it was much lighter. But it was specifically designed for goblins and could not be worn by typical humanoid creatures, so he had no choice but to give up. An hour before the end of this Ruins Market trading session, Song Kai, as on several previous occasions, used a Ruins Market guest token as a bargaining chip to start an auction unlike the usual ones. Of course, except for the first time, he had learned his lesson in subsequent sessions and did not put up multiple Ruins Market guest tokens at once. Instead, he limited it to just 1 each time. In doing so, he could stir up the desires of various alien species without running out of Ruins Market guest tokens for the next transaction, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. The level of the Ruins Market was now enhanced to LV19, and he would not be able to condense a new Ruins Market guest token in a short time, so naturally, he had to plan for its future use. As the detailed attributes of the Ruins Market guest token appeared above the Vault of Heaven, the crowd of alien species below immediately exploded in excitement. And as expected, upon seeing the attributes of the Ruins Market guest token, that high-level goblin named Luke Thor was particularly eager. If there were no other surprises, this Ruins Market guest token would likely end up in his hands. After all, Song Kai had already planned for the purchase of Terrastones in his mind and could not do without a buyer. It's just unknown what good items this sleazy character could offer in the end for this Ruins Market guest token. Thinking of this, Song Kai also felt a renewed sense of anticipation. P.S. Don't ask me why the update is so late. I was about to take leave. I've been writing continuously for 2.5 months since the book started, and I wanted to slack off for a day. But I'm afraid you'd scold me, and the book is currently in its growth phase, so I gritted my teeth and wrote another chapter. I am humble indeed. Woo woo woo.